Hello everyone, welcome to Dr. Rajkumar Academy. In this session, we'll discuss about 9/9/2022 newspaper session guys. So in today's newspaper, especially editorial articles are not so important. So we'll try to look into other issues which are extremely important and link it with our syllabus. So till today, I was focusing mostly upon explaining you the concepts and seeing what exactly you need to pick. But from today, we'll also try to ensure how to link it with the syllabus so that it's easy for you people to also start analyzing in that particular manner over a period of time. And there is repeated requests for discussing the things in Kannada as well. We completely understand, guys. We want to support our people, especially Karnataka people. There is no doubt in that. Even myself, I'm comfortable teaching and explaining in Kannada. But the point what I want to insist here is many students who are really good in Kannada and who are really working hard for mains, but prelims they are not able to clear, they are not able to make up just because they are not comfortable with the language of CSAT. So prelims you need to write in English, and I'm talking slowly and I'm using basic English language. So I don't think it must be difficult for you people to understand. So when it comes to notes or so, we are seeing from both prelims and mains and Rajkumar Academy every week. We are giving Kannada current affairs as well. So you can go through that for any additional informations and material wise, we'll definitely try to provide. We have our magazine as well, but just informing you that what is more important for us is helping you people to understand CSAT properly, and you must be able to pass CSAT paper where English matters a lot. And not only that ways, even for GS when you are reading, certain terminologies matters a lot. So that's the reason we consciously try to ensure that this entire thing will be in English, because until and unless you don't understand newspaper effectively, CSAT and other subjects might be difficult. So now let's quickly get into the newspaper. So yeah, the first most important news, extremely important news is India China troops disengage at LAC friction point in Ladakh. So yes, once COVID actually started, there was an issue between India and China near patrolling point 15, PP15, in the Gogra hot springs area. Fine. Now this we are talking about India and China, that too in Ladakh. And what is the meaning of LAC? Line of actual control. So yes, India, China, when I say one thing we are all aware, you will link it with what we call as international relations. But remember, border problems are also studied under internal security. In geography as well, we need to know how our borders vary with the different countries. So, from internal security point of view, from geography point of view, and also from IR point of view, this is a very interesting case. Now, in your notes, I want you to write about India, China separately so that we can link it with other syllabus as well. India, China, hyphen, patrolling point 15, patrolling point 15, near Gogra Hot Springs area. Near Gogra Hot Springs area. Okay, guess this must be there in your notes. Now you see, is in 2020 there was some skirmishes or fight between India and China near Ladakh region. And what was the major problem in that? China started claiming some territories because India was having certain constructions. And whenever such issues happen, normally army people at their level try to discuss that specific issue first. Once the army people start talking, and if they cannot, then it will go to Ministry of Defense, then it will go to Ministry of External Affairs, then it will go to Prime Minister and President on either side. So when we are talking about India China issue, fortunately we observe that at the army level itself both sides have agreed that let us go back. Fine, this is the first point that I want you to know. The second most interesting thing for us is Indian Prime Minister and Chinese President may meet in Uzbekistan next week. And as we have observed, whenever there is a border problem and whenever Modi and Zai are meeting, at that time, the border problem will be resolved temporarily. Right? This we have seen in Doklam crisis and many other areas as well. It's a good indication that when leaders meet at the lower level, talks will be successful. And remember, guys, from May 2020 till now, they spoke for almost 16 rounds and said disengagement basically means you go back and we will also go back to where we were. So both the troops are going back from where they actually started. So this is what it is trying to talk about, guys. Next, when we see the other issue, longest reigning monarch of UK, Elizabeth II, dead. Guys, here in comparative politics, in polity, governance issues, they may ask you questions about what is theocracy, what is monarchy, what is republic, what is democracy. And Queen Elizabeth is actually head of almost 15 countries, guys. The meaning of this is she is not only queen of UK, but also queen of several other countries like Australia, Canada, and all. So it's very important for you to study polity, especially different forms of government, how it exists, right, with respect to this issue. Apart from that, apart from her death, nothing else is important. For KPSC and all, it's very important for you to study uh, who is the queen, what was her age, all these aspects. Even when you are studying for PSI, PDO, and all, this becomes very, very important for you. So, Supreme Court fixes three key questions for examining EWS quota not required. India ranks 132 in HDI as score drops. Guys, this is very, very essential in your social issues, social justice, or anywhere. You can actually use this particular number to show that India is not on its mark. Recently, only we read an article saying that India has surpassed UK, and today India is one of the major power, correct, economically. But at the same time, we have got another article which says when it comes to HDI, Human Development Index, it has fallen down. So this is a clear-cut indication that economic growth is happening, fine. But is it leading to equitable distribution? Is it leading to distribution of the wealth? Or is it accumulated with few people? This is the reason why people will always say GDP is not a right measure of knowing a country's progress. And HDI is considered to be one of the most important things. So it's very, very important for us to talk about these two. Whenever you are talking about India's growth, you should also say that in certain indicators, India is not performing well, which gives us enough scope to perform, right? So these are some of the issues that are important. in the first page, guys. Now let us look at the next one, that is editorial page, and let me tell you what's important and what's not in editorial. Faustian bargain versus principles in the toss up. Because this is an article written to explain whether in politics ethics is important or not. So don't worry about these things. Discovery of Congress is political issue. The outline of an essential global pandemic treaty. See, because this is an article which is trying to tell what are the lessons that we learned during pandemic. So we need to just check what exactly it is. Because the outline of an essential global pandemic treaty. So he is actually arguing that if at all the world community can come together and have a treaty to deal with pandemics, then it would be easy for all of us to avoid such a spread of diseases in future. So we did not take any significant measure during or before COVID is what the article is trying to tell. Not so important, but I just wanted you people to know the basic idea if you are reading it. I would say if at all you want to read it for English improvement. You can pause for 15 minutes and read it for English improvement, but nothing much for you to write down. And guys, so the other issues are also not so important. Rajpath, a symbol of slavery, erased. Prime Minister. So now Rajpath is changed to Kartavyapath. So guys, this is 75th year, and this is extremely important for us. And anything with respect to history may always be asked, right? So this is very, very important for us. Just try to read it once, nothing much. Then heckler's veto cannot be allowed. Because there is a debate going on about whether a student must be allowed to wear hijab or not in the court. And when the debate is going on, fortunately, two groups are giving their own arguments. And we can also see that from uh, both pros and cons, there are debates, and Hindu is following it regularly. In this, what is the meaning of heckler's veto? It's very important and nice because I just wanted you to know if this word is used, you know what they're talking about. See, guys, here, what is the meaning? Let us say I am wearing something, hijab or something, and people are getting offended by it. Fine. I am wearing something and people are getting offended by it. Now, when people get offended, just because people get offended, should I stop my right of wearing it? Are you getting the point? Just because people get offended, should I stop practicing my religion, practicing my right? Now, here comes the question of many other aspects. Freedom of expression, when we are talking, yes, if others are offended, it doesn't mean you should not be given your right to practice. But the biggest thing that we must think about here is people are raising about, like, namaz being read loudly. People are also talking about should we wear shawls? We will also wear and come. Should Mangal Sutra be allowed? Like, should Tilak be allowed? So there are many such things which are going on around. So should a society progress ahead or should a society progress backwards? There is this two debates always in the societies. So in historical periods, we actually studied about two people, reformists and revivalists. Revivalists tried to go back, whereas reformists tried to move ahead. So when we talk about Rajaram Mohan Roy, he wanted to break down certain practices, whereas Arya Samaj and all said go back to Vedas. So there is this debate where one should go back to the religion, or on the other hand, you should allow people to move forward. So for anything, education is the key. So education must be given on the basis of rationality. We must try to ensure that rational education is given to the people where they are in a position to determine what they want. In our country, it is very easy to tell that whether it is Hindus, Muslims, Christians, anyone, forget about the religion. But it is very easy for us to say that, people must be given a right to practice their own things. But in the name of this, some religious people are misusing what the religion is teaching them. It may be certain people taking up arms in the name of religion. It may be certain people killing in the name of food. It may be certain people entering into terrorism in the name of religion. All these are happening because they are trying to see it as their own freedom of expression. Now, when people are not given rationality to think whether it is important for us or not, how to choose, because in our society today, most of the women are still under patriarchal society where men determines what they must actually wear and what they must not. So, in this form of society, right, bringing any norms should be progressive rather than regressive. I remember the statements given by people like Markandeya Kadju and all during Supreme Court interventions and talks. They told that politicians cannot change certain things because they have to get their votes. But when it comes to courts, at least they must be progressive enough, mainly because courts must try to resolve the problems as they are not going for elections. Guys, I'm just trying to give you the details of last 3 4 days arguments that were going on. Nothing much. Now, Supreme Court wants job policy for transgenders in 3 months. Guys. Now, in Tamil Nadu, there is a case filed where a transgender has asked that there must be a policy to recruit people for civil aviation, and Supreme Court is trying to say that you should come up with a particular provision, right? So this is what they're trying to tell. So let us wait for the provision to come. Now, so much has moved forward on trade, on visa, on people to people ties. This is an questionnaire between the Hindu and the foreign ministry of Bangladesh. Guys, from the last 2 to 3 days, whatever we read and wrote, the same thing is given here. So don't worry about it. Nirmala Sitharaman links inflation, state fuel taxes. She says that inflation is more in the states where fuel taxes are more. For example, non BJP ruled states have not reduced the taxes, so it is still more than 109 rupees in other parts. Whereas in some BJP ruled states, it has reduced, is what she is trying to argue. And the second thing is petrol and diesel is extremely important for supplying goods and all. So when petrol prices increases, cost of transportation increases, right? Everything becomes costly automatically. So this article is trying to say that inflation is more in the states where you have not seen any price cut. So not so important, guys. Leave it. But definitely, how inflation and fuel taxes are related must be understood. Now, Rahul begins not important. This is a very, very important and interesting issue. Is Naga team continues on constitution. So here, let me explain you in detail about the Naga issue. Because we are all aware about Nagaland, right? So Nagaland is completely made up of Nagas. But within Nagas, there are multiple subgroups. Angami tribe is there, Oho is there, lot of subgroups are present. Now, a group of Nagas, at least I think 18, 20 people, they participated in First World War and they went to France. There they observed that French-speaking people have become France, English-speaking people have become Britain, and German-speaking language people have become Germany. Nagas must also come together and establish Greater Naga Limb. This was the mindset of the people. Now, once they came back, they established Naga Club and told that we will establish Greater Naga Limb. And during Simon Commission, they went to Simon Commission and told, if at all you are giving independence to India, then you must give independence to Nagaland separately because we are not part of India. So the issue of Nagaland is not today's situation, it is historical. Now, there was a person by name A.Z. Fizzo who was in British Army and he got trained in guerrilla warfare and he tried to kill several uh, police forces and then he killed Assam Rifles and all, which led to AFSPA being introduced in Nagaland. In 1962, when India and China waged war, and China occupied most parts of Assam, like till Assam, at that point of time, these Nagas had talks with China that China will support them for their elimination. In 1963, India gave statehood to Nagaland and told that we will be protecting your culture under Article 371. There are certain states in Article 371, Nagaland is also one among them. So, some militant groups at that time gave up arms and joined active politics. But few people did not like and they established NSCN, right? Nationalist Social Council of Nagaland. Now, in this there were different groups. One group was called Isaac Movia, another one is NSCN Kaplang. And recently, BJP government is in talks with NSCNIM. And these people are demanding for separate constitution and also a separate flag. Now, in the talks, BJP government is saying that it is accepting to incorporate their constitution within India's constitution. Yes, here I just want you to have a clarity. Remember, in India, see what is a state, guys? State has four things. Like India as a state, if I consider, it should have a territory, it should have population, it should have government, and it should have sovereignty. Sovereignty basically means two things: internal sovereignty and external sovereignty. External sovereignty means outsiders should not interfere in India's issues. Internal sovereignty means we say that no one within the country should question India's constitution. No one inside the country should question India's constitution. That is internal sovereignty. Now, no one inside the country should question India's constitution means everyone should follow India's constitution. They must not follow any other constitution. Unfortunately, if we give separate constitution, that means we are allowing two constitutions to be there. So what can we do? We can incorporate a new constitution into our constitution. But I don't know how exactly the BJP government which said Article 370 must be removed because within a country you cannot have two constitutions. Now are allowing another constitution to be incorporated within the constitution. So we need to wait and watch what is the actual argument. Within the country also is you cannot have two flags. In Karnataka we have a flag which is cultural, right? So in the central government is telling that you can use it for cultural activities, not for state government activities. The meaning of that is you should not replace Indian flag and put that on Independence Day or any other state occasions, is what the article is trying to tell. So guys, this is about the Nagaland issue. So some of the points that I want you to note down. You write NSCN, NSCN, IM, National Socialist, National Socialist. Guys, this you have to write in internal security, guys. Internal security and polity both. National Socialist Council of Nagaland, of Nagaland, NSCNIM, NSCNIM has demanded, has demanded separate constitution, separate constitution and and separate flag, separate flag. Full stop. In a sovereign country, in a sovereign country, we cannot have, we cannot have two different, two different flags. Full stop. So Indian government is willing to incorporate, is willing to incorporate YEZABO, YEHZABO, YEHZABO, Ezabo. I don't know how you pronounce it. Extremely sorry. People from different parts of the country really don't know how exactly you pronounce in different parts. So it's not intentional. Ezabo into Indian constitution. Into Indian constitution. Guys, this is enough as of now. Next, guys, US is planning to refit Pak F-16s. So yes, F-16s of Pakistan is capable of launching nuclear missiles. That means if you have a nuclear bomb, F-16 can be used to drop. And US already had given F-16, but that US is planning to continue further, and India is worried about it. So this is what the entire article is all about. So we cannot stop two countries doing these aspects. Okay. So yes, I just want you to know in environment and ecology one specific word, exotic animals. So yes, you have two words, endemic animals, exotic animals. Endemic animals means which are native to a particular region. Endemic animals means which are native to a particular region. Exotic animals means which are exotic animals which are non-native to a particular area, which are not native to a particular area. That is what we call as exotic animals. Fine. So they have caught some exotic animals which were taken randomly out, nothing much. So guys, apart from this, for those people who did not watch yesterday's article, I just want you people to study or see that article once. I have explained how inflation and interest rates of RBI are linked. And I have told whenever inflation increases, normally banks will increase interest rate. RBI will increase interest rate. So banks will also increase interest rate. Yes, please read that article. Yesterday's video you watch if you have not watched. And you see here today ECB, European Central Bank, has increased interest rate so that inflation can be reduced. Fine. So this is very, very important for us. As I told you, anywhere, if at all you need to control inflation, the RBI must increase the interest rate so the banks will feel safe to keep money with RBI than giving to public. So guys, apart from that, there is no other article which is very, very important for you as of now. So guys, uh, this is important, and if you have read till here, that must be good enough. Thank you guys. Thanks for your patience. We are going to start a new batch soon. Those who are interested can always contact us, and you can attend our demo classes as well. Thank you guys. Thanks for your time.